All right, guys, who is ready to learn about some endangered animals? So this project, and you will have plenty of time to complete it, so don't worry. I'm giving you more than 2 weeks to complete it. This project is going to be a double grade, okay? You will get a grade for science. You will also get a grade for social studies because endangered animals really have a lot to do with both, right? They have to do with science. And if you don't remember what an endangered animal is an animal species that is very close to becoming extinct. Okay, an example of extinct animals are dinosaurs, right? They no longer are around. So an endangered animal is almost extinct. There aren't that many left in the wild. So that has a lot to do with science, but it also has a lot to do with social studies. Why? Well, we as a society can have an effect on endangered animals. We can either have a negative effect where we might be part of the cause, or we can have a positive effect where we can be part of the fix, right, of the solution. So in this project, we are going to explore both. Now, this packet, you should have received it on the last day of school that we were in class, or your parents went to the classroom to pick up your books. This was inside a folder that looks just like this one. All right. And it's called the Endangered Animal Report. So the first thing I want you to do is write your name, first and last, your number, and you can leave a date for the date that you complete it. All right. So before I get into this, I'm going to go ahead and show you the other file that you're going to see in the assignment. So you can kind of look through it, but I'm going to go over it with you. This is the fun part because this is where you get to pick which animal you are going to study. Okay, so I'm letting you guys pick from a pretty long list. So the first thing you have to do is you have to pick an animal from the list in this file that you're going to see in the portal. Please decide this week and send me an email by Friday, April 3rd, telling me which animal you chose, okay? And whatever animal you choose, I want you to stick to that animal. The next thing that you have to do is watch this video, okay? Watch the video on the portal describing how to complete your research report. That's what you're doing right now. Resources. There are a couple of resources. There are several resources you can use to help you complete this project. The first one, before you even start researching, is your language arts textbook, believe it or not. And it's going to be pages 482, 484, and 488. On those pages, you're going to find tips on how to do research, how to list your sources, which you will have to do for this project, and how to find reliable information on the internet, because just because it's on the internet does not mean it's true, right? So you have to be careful what website you use. The other resource is your science textbook, right? There's a lot of information in your science textbook that you can use, and that can be one of your sources. The internet, huge resource. So I did include some websites here for you. So you're going to see a list of websites. You do not have to use all of these. These are just suggestions. You can use different ones. They do not have to be these. But when you're in the file, you can actually click directly on the website and it'll take you there. So if you want to use these websites, you can find a lot of information here. Let's click on one just to see what it looks like. So this is worldwildlife.org, which is actually where I got most of these animals from. And then you would just click on go to page if you get that prompt. And that's it. You get the page. So you can start doing your research there. You can do different things like that. Let me go back to the file. All right. So once you've chosen your animal and you did your research on how to do research projects, then you can start searching for your answers. After we go over the packet together, you can start searching for your answers on these websites. Let me just go over with you quickly the ideas for your website. So again, you can use these. If you choose to use a different website, that's perfectly okay. Just be careful that it's a reliable website. So you want to look for the endings, okay? Do you see how some of these do say .com, but these are okay to use. Now, if you see .org, this means organization, okay? So those are usually pretty good. .gov, where you see here .gov, that's a government website. So that's definitely something that you can use. .com, some of them are okay. So National Geographic Kids, Britannica, this is an encyclopedia website. You can definitely use those. Do not use a search engine as a source, okay? You can use a search engine like Google to look up information about your animal, but when you tell me about your sources, make sure that you know what website you're looking at. So google.com is not considered a source because all that did was take you to a source. So you want to make sure that you're copying the right source. The other one that I want to make sure you do not use is Wikipedia. Wikipedia can be edited by anybody, so that is not a reliable source, all right? So we cannot use Wikipedia. You can use an encyclopedia like Britannica, and that is a reliable source. So you're going to see here that you have a very long list of animals, and I have provided pictures for you. So you can choose which one you want to learn more about. And you can pick whichever one you want, okay? As long as it's on this list, go ahead and pick from this list. You might want to do a little research first to see which one you find the most interesting, or maybe the easiest to find a lot of information on. All right, but then when you pick, don't forget to send me an email. So let's move over to the assignment. So after you've written your name and you chose your animal, then I want you to write the name of your animal here. Okay. What type of animal is it? So by my animal is I'm asking for what category is it in? Is it a mammal? Is it a reptile? Is it an insect? What is it? All right. Here you are to draw or paste a picture of your animal. So if you like drawing, you are more than welcome to just draw a picture of the animal. Make sure that you color it. All right. No black and white drawings. And, if you choose not to draw it, that's okay too. You can print something from the internet. You can cut out something from a magazine, as long as you've asked your parents and it's okay to cut that page off the magazine. You can do that. Once you get here, interesting facts. So this you can even leave for the end. After you do all your research, what are the things that you found really interesting about this animal that you didn't know? You had no idea that they lived in a particular place, or that they used camouflage, or what are the fun facts about that animal? So you can give me a couple of them here. You don't have to give me 4, all right? I just gave you extra lines so you have space to write your sentences, but at least give me like 3 interesting facts about your animal. Physical features. So physical features means, what does the animal look like, all right? How much does it usually weigh? How big does it get? How little is it when it's born? What colors do you usually find this animal in? Things like that, all right? Next page, habitat. So where does the animal live? Here I'm not asking you for countries. I'm asking you for what type of habitat does your animal live in? So I gave you some examples. It doesn't have to be one of these. If your animal lives in a different type of habitat, you can write that one. Desert, freshwater, grassland, oceans. Where does your animal live? All right. On the page with the map, that's where you get to tell me the countries that your animal can be found in. So here, just the habitat. Food. What does your animal eat? Does it eat other animals? Does it eat plants? What is your animal's diet consist of? Population. How many are left in the world? So because these are endangered species, this is information that's pretty easy to find in one of your sources, because the reason we know it's endangered is because there's less than a certain amount left in the world. So about how many are there left in the world of this animal? Causes. So this is where you get to explore what are the reasons that your animal is endangered to begin with. So is it losing its habitat? So if one of these is its habitat, right? Let's say your animal is in a grassland, and that grassland for some reason is just being flattened out, or for whatever reason is just dying out, and your animal is losing their habitat. Is that the reason why? Is it pollution? Is pollution killing off your type of animal? Overexploitation of the species? Are they being hunted for something? Invasive species and diseases. Is there a disease or another animal maybe that is causing them to die? Or climate change. Is climate change the cause of your animal's endangerment? So once you have figured out what is the cause, explain it here. So give me 1 or 2 sentences describing why habitat loss is the cause, or pollution. What is it that's really making your animal become endangered? All right, on the page with the map, Here, I want you to pick any color, and I want you to shade. Okay, so I want you to color the areas where your animal lives. So for example, if you pick an animal that's in Florida, you can just color the state of Florida. And then I do want you to label it. So color where your animal is, and then label. So for example, a Florida panther. You would color Florida, and you would draw a little line, and you would write Florida, or Everglades, something like that. Africa, okay, what part of Africa? Is it South Africa? All right, color in South Africa, and write down here South Africa. Asia, Europe, Australia. Where does your animal live? Okay, South America. So I do want you to use color for this page, and I do want you to label it. This page, you don't have to color this. These are just examples of animals that if they're not endangered today, they may have been endangered in the past, or when I printed this the first time around. So you don't have to color it, but I do want you to fill out this part. This is probably the most important part of your whole project. And this is where you get to tell me and you get to advertise what can we do as humans to help your animal avoid extinction. So what can we do to make sure that what happened to the dinosaurs does not happen to your animal, right? How do we make sure that they do not become extinct and they can keep on living with us on this planet? So if it's habitat loss, for example, if we are deforesting and causing habitat loss, okay, so what alternatives can you think of for humans so that we don't have to do that and your animal can continue living there, or whatever else the reason might be? Okay, so for this one, I do want complete sentences, at least like two or three sentences, whatever you can fit here. Just give us an idea of what we can do as a human society to avoid your animal from becoming extinct. And then the last part, sources for my endangered animal report. I do want you to include at least 3 sources. So I've given you 1, 2, and 3 lines. All right. One of your sources can be your science textbook. It does not have to be. You can use 3 websites if you want to. But make sure that you are listing it correctly. So if you look in your language arts textbook, on that page that I told you to look up, you'll see how to list your sources, and it'll say, okay, if you had a website, how do I write this down? If you wrote a book, if you used a book, how do you write the name of the book and the author, and what order do you do it in? So follow that as closely as possible. All right. Because I want you to get some practice, right? When you get to middle school and you start doing more research projects, this is a huge part of your project, is to tell your teacher where you got all this information from. If you have more than 3 sources, that's perfectly okay. Just pick the top 3. Okay. Where did you get most of your information from? You don't have to give me all the sources. Just give me the top 3 and I'm okay with that. All right. So this pretty much covers your project. Again, you have like 2.5 weeks to complete this. You have until April 15th. So just make sure to upload it before then. And feel free to ask me any questions during our video calls, or your parents can send me an email or a Class Dojo message if you have a specific question, and we'll talk about it, okay? But for this week, what I want you to focus on is picking your animal. So look through the list that I sent you and pick your animal and decide which one you want to learn a little bit more about and which one you want humans to try and save so we can learn about it too. All right. Thanks, guys. See you later.